A cloth held over his nose filtered the worst of the fetid odors assailing him, but did nothing to dispel the disturbing sight of filth coating the steps he climbed. Arriving at a dark corridor, he halted, for the screams had ceased. For a moment, he stood there, eyes closed, his body acting as an antenna tuned for a signal. The residue of the psychic cry hung in the air, clung to the very fibers of reality. He turned to stare at the door. Unremarkable, dented, scratched, locked, as if that would stop him. Nebula. The word whispered from his lips and drew power from the very air itself. It didn't take much to activate the simplest of spells. He felt himself dissolve, the cells of his body losing cohesion and turning into a mist that crept under the crack between the door and the floor. He pulled all of his atoms into one area and rematerialized inside the poor excuse for a home. At least he didn't need his handkerchief anymore. The astringent scent of a lemon cleaner and bleach permeated the air, a vain attempt to clean a place that needed more than a scrubbing. A firebomb came to mind. On ghostly feet, Titus walked over to the figure huddled on a mattress, a frail form that seemed too slight to have sent out such a powerful astral sound, and unconsciously at that. Who are you? And how was it he'd not encountered her before? Titus made a point of meeting all non-humans entering his territory. A smart vampire didn't condone surprises or possible enemies. A sweet scent reached him, curling around his senses, making his recently quenched thirst flare to life again. What delicious treat is this? I want a taste. Wanted, but didn't need. Titus had learned long ago to control his bloodlust. He pushed aside the urge to feed from this sleeping beauty. Instead, he crouched down and peered at the perfectly oval face that appeared so calm in repose. A woman, out of girlhood, but he couldn't have said how old, not without looking into her eyes. Smooth, creamy skin was offset by dark brows and hair that lay twisted around her head. Her lips were full and pink, and even as he watched, they trembled as she whimpered in her sleep, a small cry that echoed much more loudly in his mind. Titus reached out a hand as if to soothe, but stopped himself. He had no wish to wake her. Women tended to react badly when they opened their eyes to find a strange man in their bedroom. They always asked, "Who are you? How did you get in here?" But usually screamed before he could answer. "I am the neighborhood boogeyman. Come for dinner." Titus never claimed to be nice. The scream died off, the whimpers calmed, and the woman's features smoothed. She was experiencing a nightmare, an intense one, with the ability to send out a call. Fascinating. Titus sat back on his haunches, contemplating her existence. What is she? Despite appearances, she's obviously not completely human. Nor lichen. Shapeshifters had a distinct, primal, make that animal-like scent. Titus had run into his fair share of other-world creatures in his lifetime, things of legend. None of them bore this delicious scent. Add in her magic. I've never felt a power like hers before. Effortless. No spoken words to initiate a spell. No noticeable pulling on the forces around them.